You're impatient, upset, and constantly blowing up accounts. And this is causing you to spiral and continue to have red days and blow up more and more accounts. You buy more accounts, you keep blowing them up. Guys, in this video, I'm going to show you 2 tactics that'll help you not only stop doing that, but actually be able to pass in one day. Now, in general, this is going to be an exceptional video. In general, I don't think it's smart to try to pass in one day, but Apex offers the 1-day pass. So how could we actually do it? I did talk about it in my last video. We're going to be a little more tactical in this video. None of this is stuff I haven't said before, so I'm repackaging prior material, purely focused on passing in one day though, guys. If you're new here, my name is Forrest. I am a funded day trader with over $1 million in funding. I've been trading for a few years now. I still trade my own capital. I trade options, but all of my content here is really focused on trading futures and the consistency of income that you can generate with futures trading, and then leveraging that with prop firms like Apex, Top Step, Purdia, any of the crypto firms, FTMO, which is technically Forex. There's all these different things that you can use. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. You can always just trade your own capital with these strategies, but let's talk about how to pass in one day. Also, if you want to join the best trading community on the internet, check out the links below. The one wap.com/trade edge will bring you to the Trade Edge Discord. Myself and Soul, who is my peer in running the Discord, we day trade there live every single day, 9:30 a.m. until market close. We jump in and out. Or what's more important though is that we will hold you accountable to your goals, as well as teaching you how to trade using our trading style, right? So we're big price action and volume traders. With all of that said, let's get into the video. So first, the tactics. Discretionary trading, which is what we are, we're discretionary traders, ultimately comes down to using our experience and our gut to make a real-time decision to get in and out of a trade. We can have a system, but we're not a computer. So no matter how automated your system might be, you're still not an algorithm. I want to make that very, very clear. That's one of our superpowers though. One of the things that allows us to have asymmetric returns on our risk is the fact that we can trade with discretion. It's the fact that we can look at differences or imbalances in the auction, understand and make money off of a trade that might only exist for 4.5 minutes in a day. Sitting and watching and analyzing all these different charts and having market awareness, understanding that, you know, the indexes are selling off because XLF is having a bad day, but tech is up, and knowing that the indices tend to want to sink at the end of the day and maybe taking a trade off of that. But how can we remove as much of the subjectivity, even though that is our superpower, from our trading plan? So tactic number 1 is having a game plan every single day. Trading with a plan. If you look at any of my past videos, I talk about reversion to the mean trades. One of the simplest trades you can do. Pull up a few examples here, looking at this past week of some trades that we could have taken to actually pass in one day. But a reversion to the mean trade is a clear-cut classic trade that you can take if you want to pass in one day. What does that mean? That means that anytime the market extends beyond maybe VAH, VAL, it sweeps the overnight high, overnight low. We're in a ranging market. More often than not, the market is going to range. It's going to return back to the mean. It's going to return back to VWAP or the POC, and you take that trade. Take that trade right at the pivot. You use things like the volume profile and the Camarillo pivots to identify the most likely turn in price. And this allows you to catch these big swings with a very tight stop. And this is important if you're going to try and pass one trade, because you need really, really tight stops to do this. What you don't want to do is coin flip with a wide stop. You want to coin flip with a tight stop, because even if you're wrong on your first fish, your first fishing for the trade, you can still get 2 or 3 more attempts out of it. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm gonna be very, very honest with you guys. You, and you. If you try to pass in one day, you're way more likely to blow up than if you follow my normal advice. You trade with average risk, going for big swings, but this is exactly how you do it. You have to catch a pivot or a momentum trade. But ultimately, reversion to the mean trade should be a part of your trading plan everyday setup. You need to catch a pivot if you want to not get smoked. Why? Well, if you trade in the middle of the range around POC or whatever, especially if you're trading NQ or something like that, you're very, very likely to get smoked on a quick pullback. So NQ, it's not uncommon for it to have 7, 8, 9 point, and especially in the midday consolidation, pullbacks, backfills, even in a green move. So if we're in a green trend, you know, after we do 20 points, it's very likely going to come back 7, 8, 9 points. It just does that. You go look at the charts, hit bar replay and trading view, and you can see it for yourself. This happens all the time. You need to take trades at the likely pivots. That's going to be right after a sweep, overnight high, overnight low sweep, or some other primary liquidity target, you know, using something like R3 or R4 on the CAM pivots, which are actually based off of prior day high, low, and close levels anyway. anyways. That's why Camarilla pivots are so useful, or use the volume profile to find a low value node or high volume node on the daily volume profile and use that as your entry and exit targets. But if you're not using a very clear cut target, if you just come in and are flipping a coin, I'm telling you, you're going to blow up. You're not going to be able to pass in one day. And you'll be the person who at the beginning of this video is consistently blowing up accounts because you're impatient, right? You only need one trade. You only need one trade. When you talk about passing in one day, you really only need like one trade, and you pass in like 30 minutes inside of a whole session. Doesn't mean it's the first 30 minutes of the session. It might be at the end of the session, but it's entirely possible. Step number 2 is journaling. I talk about journaling all the time. You need to journal every single trade. And instead of talking about, how to set up a journal, I've already done a video. Go look through my channel on how to set up a trading journal. It doesn't matter what you use. I'm going to give you an analogy. And I actually wrote this down earlier, so I'm going to read it how I wrote it. You're a coach. You are a coach. You're watching this, right? You're not the one trying to learn. In this story, in this analogy, you're a coach. And someone comes up to you and they want to be a runner. They run every single day at 9:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. they run. And you ask them, well, what do you eat every morning? They don't know, right? What time do they start running? Well, they know they start running at 9:30 a.m. Sometimes they run a little bit earlier. Sometimes they run a little bit later, but they're not really tracking the exact time that they start running either. You say, okay, well, how fast are your first few miles every morning? What's your average pace? Well, they don't know. Okay, well, what days do you feel better running? What days do you feel worse running? Well, they can kind of remember the past few days. Like yesterday was a really good run. Yesterday was actually an amazing run, but the day before that was kind of bad. They can't remember what they did the day before the bad day that made that day a bad run. And you're the coach and you're like, okay, well, all right. You're sitting there, you're taking in all this information. You don't know what you eat. You don't know the exact time you start running. You don't know what your pace is. You can't remember why some days are better than bad days. The only thing that this person is telling you is that they run every single day. This person is giving you zero useful information about the thing that they do every day, other than that they do it every day. And they're trying to convince you. They're trying to convince you that they want to be a better runner. Now, doesn't that sound insanely stupid? One thing is true. This person obviously has a passion, right? They obviously are willing to get up and do a thing, but it doesn't mean that they're willing to do it well or to, do it at a high level, right? Just because they're doing it. And that's how a lot of people treat a lot of things. A lot of people go to the gym, but they don't work hard. A lot of people go into the markets, but they don't track their performance, right? Trying to get better at something that you're not tracking just makes you a liar. There's no other way to put it. I've never met a single person in life who's gotten better at anything without tracking it. It's just impossible. And that's because we're human. We have bad days. We have days where we're off. We have days where we want to quit. We have days where real life happens and you're going to lose motivation. You're not going to be able to, more importantly, pull the lessons out of your great days. Your best days and your worst days aren't important on the day that they happen. They're important a month later, because a month later, you want to be able to look back at the lessons on your good days and understand exactly what inputs made that day so good. Was it the seasonality? Was it the market? Was it because you woke up early? Is it because you did a bunch of macro analysis the night before and took notes? Did you get lucky? If all your green days are luck, did you flip a coin? Did you lever up? Did you lever down? Did you have consecutive scalps? Was the market ranging on that day? Was the market trending on that day? Was it a data day? Was there data at 8:30? Did you catch a major pivot? This is all I'm just making stuff up based off of things that I know in the back of my head. Did you start looking at a new time interval? These are all things that you should be note taking on a daily basis. Journaling is so important. You can get better to a degree as a trader. Just like somebody who hasn't started running and they start running. If you start running every day, yeah, you'll get better endurance and you'll get a little bit better as a runner, but you'll never be a great runner. You'll never be a winner training like that. If you want to be a winner, especially at something that's much harder than running, day trading, where you have to actually risk capital, the thing that you're trying to make, you have to risk in order to get it. You don't have infinite at-bats. You can't just keep running. There's not an infinite amount of time where you can stay mediocre. You actually have to improve or you're going to run out of money. I don't want that to happen to you. I have free journals. There's a link down below, that same link, wap.com/tradeedge. There is a link to a trading journal. I spent time making it so you can use it. It's in Notion. You can use a spreadsheet. You can write it down, post-it note. You don't need a crazy system. You just need something. You need to get the ideas and the memories and the setups out of your head onto something more permanent that you can look back on. It honestly doesn't matter what it is, guys. Obviously, there's better systems than others, but anything is better than zero. You can be crazy and just have a wall of post-its everywhere with every setup everywhere like a crazy person. It literally doesn't matter because you're going to have data and charts that you can look at, which is really just the point. So those are the two tactics: journaling, setups, and having a plan. So let's look at how that would have played out if you had some previous setups and you had some previous notes on how to take a setup that's going to help you actually pass in one day. You have to be a good trader to actually do this, especially if you want to do this across 20 accounts. So let's jump into the charts right now. All right, so we are back looking at NQ. This is the 15-minute time frame. Let's go up to the 4-hour time frame and let's take a look at a few things. So we want to look at the volume profile across its time range. We'll get rid of other indicators for now and really just want to look at the major nodes. So my plan, let's imagine it's last Friday. I'm recording this on Sunday. Let's imagine it's Friday, February 2nd, and I'm trying to pass an account one day. Apex, they weren't having the sale right now. They have these sales intermittently. So if you want to, use my code for the 80% off one day pass, it's the same code that's down below in the link in the description of this video. You can use that code for any of the sales. It'll give you the highest discount. So a few things of note here. Look where we bounced. We bounced right where there's this high volume node right here. So this 467, which I had marked, which was previous resistance. You can see it, previous resistance here. Resistance becomes support, and the support resistance level is also a major node. Go figure, kind of magical. I have to ask myself, if I'm coming into the market on Friday, let's go to the 15-minute time frame, either pre-market or otherwise. We can see here that at 9:30 it came to this 466 level. That previous support becomes resistance, and I only want one trade. There's one trade that I want. We actually took this long. I think everybody in our Discord took this long. It was an amazing long to take. It was very obvious long. We have this sell-off from pre-market. This level maintained. A few of us were long overnight looking for a breakout. That trade failed, which was fine. It failed in the closer time frame. You could have held this and obviously would have played out. But if you're trying to do intraday swings, this becomes pretty strong resistance. We sell off and we're coming up to a major level. 1, 2, 3. 3 hits. We broke this. We won't count that. So this is a first touch retest of this level. And we can see here within this time frame, look at this cliff that formed here. Huge low value area on this time frame. It's a high volume node on a higher time frame. A lot of confluence, right? Both extremes of the volume profile there. And we're coming into it early in the session right at 9:30. If you're trying to pass, right, and you can see that this line already had this line here. It was like a penny perfect touch here. We can see it right there. It came down to, let's actually see how close it was in this case. It was it was like 464.50. You go 10 in Q long, you have a 50K account, you go 10 in Q long, it's $200 a point, and this thing flew up 41 points. You're passing instantly. That's it. That's a trade. That's a clear as day trade. The rest of the day doesn't even matter now. We had a strong session. Overall, you should be looking for longs on the macro. The other tip that I would say is trade with the trend. If you want to pass a one day, trade with the trend. You should generally trade with the trend as a newbie trader. Counter trend trading is usually a bad idea in most cases, unless you're looking for clear pivots or swings of overnight highs and lows. But if we go to the daily, we're in a very clear uptrend. Boom. Let's actually use the lines. Can't draw straight lines with my trackpad apparently. So we have this trend like this. There's a few lines that we could draw here. We'll see how they play out. But we're in a higher high, higher low situation for sure. High, higher high, higher high, low, higher low, higher low, higher low, right? Uptrend. We're in a clear uptrend. So I'm like, all right, we're in an uptrend on the daily. Maybe the uptrend stops, but we want to follow the trend until the trend bucks us, or we get like a high volume rejection of some level. The market's kind of topping out right now. Well, it's not really topping out. We're at highs right now in the market. It's not topping out. I want to say that. It's smart to anticipate a reversal because we are at the highs, but we want to wait for the market to show us that it's going to reverse before we preempt a reverse. That's very, very important. The market's very likely to overheat and smoke short sellers before it goes short. There's going to short as many people trying to go short as possible before the market reverses. Why? Well, that's because of what it does, right? They're trying to collect premium. So on the higher time frame, we're in an uptrend. Go to the shorter time frame, you get your hit. There's your 10 in Q. Let's look at the session. We'll go to the 5-minute and let's look at VWAP. We actually had a replay, very similar price action to the day before on Thursday. We bounced off the low, we came up, we started consolidating above VWAP, and then we extended to a major target. If we look at Thursday, we bounced, came up, consolidated above VWAP, and then went to a higher target. It was a literal replay of the price action. So I played calls on both of these days, which, separate topics of this video, but I want to talk a little bit just about the market, always do. So I took calls at the lows on both days, which was good. It was nice 300 and 400%er. Could have went bigger on both days, didn't. It is what it is. Ultimately, you have to hold the trade. I'm not perfect either, guys, but got my bag. It was a nice little trade. Took that. I think there was another 10x opportunity here. Theta beat these options up a lot. If you look at the time of the bounce, 9:30, it's going to be really hard to get a crazy ROI for any options you take at the open on zeros, right? So these were zeros. I could have went 1, 2 DTE. That's fine. Most of your profit is going to be from here to here, right? Up to this top wick. That's going to be most of your profit. Theta is going to start smoking the crap out of you from 1035. You're going to absolutely obliterate it. So you're really going to ride the gamma ramp on that first move. And then from here to here would be an opportunity. And then you start to get smoked again. and then the afternoon is absolute just, terrible time. So if you're going to play options off these moves, these macro moves, which is a great idea, you always should just be cognizant of the fact that theta exists. If you buy options early, you really need a good price, or you need a really big ATR, average trading range, whatever you want to call it, in order to collect a bunch of premium on the back end. Today was a good day, but still you would have gotten smoked midday on premium. I'm glad I sold mine. Ultimately, that's it, guys. Very simple. I hope that video arms you with some more information, and more important, the framework and thought process to help you pass in one day. Trading is one of the hardest things that you can ever try to do. You're not going to get better unless you do the tedious work. Tedium, journaling, taking notes. I use Notion. It's super easy. I literally just screen grab the chart, throw it over, throw some bullets. Screen grab the chart, throw it over, throw some bullets, add tags. It's super simple to do. If you're not doing it, it's probably because of your ego. There's a few people that I know that aren't doing it, and I'm talking to you. It's ego. It's flat out ego. It's thinking that you can do better than I know you can do. You can't do better without journaling. It's impossible. All the best traders journal, so make sure that you do it. In any case, my name's Forrest. I invest in stuff. I also make YouTube videos. I also break dance. I also like cars. I bought a new bunch of car parts. I should do a car video. Maybe we'll throw that in here as a vlog style thing. But in any case, like, subscribe, join the Discord. See you in the next one. Peace.